I'm Eric DeLeo, Assistant Executive Director of Capital Planning and Programs at New Jersey Transit, and this video is an opportunity for New Jersey Transit to continue an important dialogue on positive train control, or PTC as it is commonly known. PTC is officially defined as a system designed to prevent train-to-train collisions, overspeed derailments, incursions into established work zone limits, and the movement of a train through a switch left in the wrong position. And, just as important, it is a state-of-the-art safety system that New Jersey Transit is committed to implementing by the end of 2018. This presentation will highlight three important areas in which NJ Transit is making meaningful progress: the prototyping and production of vehicles, the demonstration area, and our continued focus on the timing of key milestones to ensure an operational PTC system by the December 2018 deadline to meet the federal mandate. One of the most critical elements in the implementation of a PTC network is the development of vehicle prototypes and the retrofitting of the fleet. PTC vehicles are dependent on intraoperative communications. That means that track, vehicles, and the Rail Operations Center speak to each other, continually informing one another of speed and location. This information exchange network requires the design, fabrication, and testing of the PTC communications equipment and supporting software. We are committed to deploying this communications equipment and supporting software on our fleet with all deliberate speed, but that deployment must also be responsibly completed. For New Jersey Transit, that means an emphasis on quality assurance and due diligence. All of our planned equipment and software installed in a prototype vehicle to see how it works in the real world. It is not simply one prototype, because we have identified 10 different rail cars and locomotives that will be operating within our PTC system. We need to build 10 different prototypes for testing. Once successful prototypes have been developed, we can take that proven communications technology and software and retrofit it into each of the 440 vehicles that will be in service, our production phase. The vehicle retrofitting runs concurrently with the development of prototypes, so the process is always in motion. There are several individual steps to the production queue, and 6 of the most significant are featured above. And retrofitting a vehicle can take approximately 2 weeks. You will see that our contractor, Parsons Transportation, is responsible for the major sections of this work, and they and their subcontractor, Alstom, are developing the communications technology. On our side, we're managing the process of removing vehicles from and returning them to revenue service after they've been retrofitted, with as little impact on schedule and our customers as possible. These are a few photos of the retrofit process on a prototype rail passenger car recently underway on New Jersey Transit vehicles. As you can see, the effort actually requires technicians to crawl in, around, and even under the vehicle to open panels, remove equipment, trace wires and cables, and then reassemble it. The technicians must also determine that the equipment they are removing or relocating to make room for the new PTC communications devices will not affect the vehicle's operation. So not only are they required to completely understand how their new technology works, they must also know how the rail vehicle functions so as to not compromise its utility. We are talking about a time-consuming, highly detailed job for which there is no shortcut or alternative. And keep in mind that once we have successfully built and tested 10 different vehicle prototypes, Parsons and Alstom will be responsible to do it again and again, 430 more times to be exact. I spoke before about the need for responsible system deployment, and as part of our due diligence, testing the new PTC communications technology would not be possible without an appropriately equipped section of track. By the fall of this year, we will have a test section of track properly outfitted with the infrastructure necessary to facilitate communications between a prototype vehicle and our Rail Operations Center. But before I leave this slide, let me call your attention to the juxtaposition of labor illustrated here. On one side, PTC is high technology and software development. On the other, it's track work, trenching, laying cable, and installing radio antenna. PTC is taking shape both in the lab and in the field. Let's take a look at how the demonstration area works. Another important part of our due diligence commitment, the demonstration area, is actually a 6-mile section of the Morristown line on which we have installed transponders, signals, and radio towers that will enable a PTC prototype vehicle to communicate its speed and location to the Rail Operations Center. It allows for a real-world, real-time shakedown of new technology and software. The demonstration area is a controlled environment where we can work out the bugs in the system before we deploy 440 retrofitted vehicles. Our last major area of focus is the key milestones we have identified with Parsons and their subcontractor Alstom that must be met in order for New Jersey Transit to meet the federally mandated PTC completion date of December 31st, 2018. What you see here is an adaptation of the PTC dashboard that appears on the Federal Railroad Administration's website. Every rail property in the country that is implementing a PTC program reports quarterly progress in these specific areas to the FRA. The FRA, in turn, updates this dashboard to show what's advancing. But in order to better illustrate the pace of change, for today's presentation, we're condensing the dashboards into 6-month projections and taking them to the end of 2017. As a side note, the FRA's dashboard layout helps to underscore one of the implementation challenges unique to New Jersey Transit. Unlike many other properties, our propulsion is not just locomotive-based. We also have passenger cars that pull or push trains. So even though the first category is called locomotives, we're putting PTC technology in many other types of vehicles. If you were to go to the FRA website right now, this is what New Jersey Transit's dashboard looks like. It reflects what has been done as of September 30th, 2016. You'll note that we have installed 4% of our radio towers, and they were in the demonstration area. If we jump to the next reporting period, which will be what's been cumulatively accomplished from September to December 2016, you'll see that New Jersey Transit has acquired the necessary radio spectrum. That's an important achievement, as without ownership of an exclusive radio spectrum, we wouldn't be able to broadcast communications between vehicles, track, and the Rail Operations Center without interference. Exclusive radio spectrum is vital to the efficient operation of PTC. This is what we anticipate the FRA dashboard to look like when it is updated this quarter. The June 2017 FRA dashboard should show progress and milestones for which our contractor Parsons is responsible. Our agreement with Parsons specifically contemplates an increase in the pace of development and installation, which will start paying off as the retrofitting of vehicles, installation of radio towers, and employee training, which is a joint task with New Jersey Transit, pick up speed. Note that for purposes of our adapted FRA dashboard, we anticipate the spectrum milestone has changed to a check mark, a full circle indicating completion, and is now listed as available. The gray box indicates that the remaining task is approval of the spectrum acquisition by the FCC. That is a regulatory step, which makes the spectrum officially available for our use, and we do not anticipate any delay in its completion. By December 2017, progress will be well underway, and the previously discussed milestones will continue to advance. By this point, we expect Parsons to have retrofitted more than a third of our rail fleet, the product of having implemented a second production shift at their retrofitting facility. Almost 3/4 of radio towers will have been installed, and more than half of the appropriate employees will have received PTC training. In the period between December 2017 and December 2018, our plan contemplates full completion of the federal implementation mandate, including a fully equipped vehicle fleet, each of our 11 track segments complete, radio towers across our system installed, the training of 1,100 of our employees who will be charged with operating our system, all 326 of our route miles in service, the submission of a PTC safety plan to the FRA, and full availability of the spectrum necessary to support our system. PTC implementation is an enormous task with many moving parts and interdependencies. Its progress, while incremental, is always moving forward. Our confidence in meeting the federal implementation mandate date of December 31, 2018 grows as our contractor meets each milestone. But one thing is certain, NJ Transit remains totally committed to the safety of our customers and our employees.